It's a big verdict for Indian cricket that's expected today. In about an hour's time from now, the Supreme Court is likely to decide on when BCCI Chief N. Srinivasan will go and who becomes the interim president. Sources are telling headlines today that BCCI is likely to suggest to the court that either Anil Kumble or Shivlal Yadav take over from N. Srinivasan in the interim period. BCCI will oppose Sunil Gavaskar and cite its constitution, which mandates either the vice president or someone proposed by the zone from which the president belongs that he take over. The board is also going to desperately plead that in the interest of players, Chennai Super Kings and Rajasthan Royals should not be suspended from IPL 7. The petitioners in the case, though, are proposing that either Shashank Manohar or Jagmohan Dalmia take over from N. Srinivasan. Right, we have a huge team of our reporters tracking this big verdict for us. We have with us our consulting editor Boria Majumdar, who's joining us live. We also have Vedika Sood from Chennai, who's tracking developments on N. Srinivasan's home ground, and Indrajit Kundu from Kolkata. I'm going to come to you first. Boria, you've been breaking exclusive stories and getting reactions from all factions of the BCCI, also of the cricketing community. Tell us, what are the big questions that the Supreme Court needs to address today?
Simple 4 questions. One, who replaces Mr. Srinivasan? The fact is Mr. Srinivasan will go today is a finality. Point number 1. Point number 2, the BCCI will, as you rightly said in your opening remarks, the BCCI will oppose Sunil Gavaskar, propose Shivlal Yadav or Anil Kumble. Whether or not the Supreme Court accepts those suggestions, the petitioner's side will definitely propose the name of Shashank Manohar for sure. You know, Supreme Court needs to decide who is the best man to lead Indian cricket at this point in time. That is the question number 2. Question number 3, what happens to the fate of the two teams, Chennai Super Kings and Rajasthan Royals? I can tell you for a fact that Mr. Srinivasan has been calling a lot of the affiliate units till very late last night, and some of them have spoken to me. In fact, one of them said, I have not got a call from him for the last 4 months. Today he called me and said, how is it happening that 2 teams will get suspended? All of the affiliate units get 25 crores from the BCCI. All of that money will be stopped. So that is a plea that C.S. Sundaram is likely to present on behalf of Mr. Srinivasan, saying please don't suspend these 2 teams. And finally, what happens to the India Cements employees, which will also impact someone like a Sundar Raman, someone like a Mahendra Singh Dhoni and a number of other Indian players. These are the questions that the Supreme Court will adjudicate upon, and today is not a hearing day, Simi. So today is not a hearing day. Don't expect a 2-hour hearing. You can absolutely expect 3 or 4 orders, interim orders, by 11:30 a.m. this morning.
All right, so crucial interim verdicts expected from the Supreme Court today. Let's also get a word from Vedika Sood, who's been tracking developments from N. Srinivasan's home turf in Chennai. Vedika, what's the mood like in Chennai? N. Srinivasan continuing to evade the media?
Oh, absolutely, Simi. 3 days, not a word from him. It was only yesterday when I did manage to speak to him for a few seconds that he said, don't disturb me. That's all we've heard from the BCCI chief till now. But like Boria pointed out, he has made a lot of calls all of last evening, and he's done all his homework inside this house right behind me. He's fortified inside, Simi, for the last 3 days, ever since the Supreme Court came out with the observations it made. He has his guards in place out here. It's very difficult to even get a glimpse of the BCCI chief who's facing the heat. But moreover, there are a lot of people within Chennai who are extremely upset with what is happening. They hold N. Srinivasan accountable to a certain extent. I have some young fans with me, and let's just go across to them and ask them a few questions. You know, today at the Supreme Court, there is going to be a few interim orders, like even Boria mentioned, that are going to be passed. But are you worried about the future and the fate of CSK as well as Rajasthan Royals? Do you think it's fair as a fan of cricket that you want perhaps see them in IPL?
That's not fair, actually. I'm truly a CSK supporter. I need my team to play. They should play this tournament. Because of few people, I mean, that should not affect the whole tournament. As I believe CSK should play this tournament.
What's your view on that?
And I believe that CSK is the main part of the IPL. They have reached 5 out of 6 IPL seasons. They have reached semi-finals in every season. They are the main part of the IPL. It's not fair to be terminated.
CSK doesn't play and Rajasthan Royals also doesn't play. If that's the interim order that the Supreme Court passes, would you watch IPL 7 at all?
No chance. I won't watch IPL at all. CSK is the main part of the IPL, and even Rajasthan Royals also. So we won't watch the match.
How far do you hold N. Srinivasan responsible and accountable for what's happening within the BCCI?
and don't think he is responsible. He should answer to us. He should come out of the home and give us a response. I want him to come out of the home.
Well, there you see very upset fans, Simi, of cricket from Chennai. They're really upset about the fact that the fate of both CSK as well as Rajasthan Royals now hangs in the balance. All eyes on that crucial hearing, and a lot of them also questioning why N. Srinivasan is keeping mum for the last 72 hours.
Absolutely, but even though N. Srinivasan's refusing to break his silence, a final verdict from the Supreme Court, an interim verdict expected today, N. Srinivasan in all likelihood will be asked to go. Let's also get in a word from our correspondent Atit Sharma, who's joining us live from outside the Supreme Court. He's been tracking developments as far as the court proceedings go. Atit, as Vedika was talking about, fans will be disappointed if two teams are suspended, but there's also a lot of money involved. That's also something that needs to be worked out.
Absolutely, and I don't really see, and most of the people, if you speak to them, they don't see an IPL 7 happening without these two teams. These are the two major teams apart from Mumbai Indians and Bangalore also. And Chennai Super Kings, it's a star-studded team. It has a lot of Indian players in it, and an IPL happening without it seems very unlikely right now. But we are just waiting for the interim order. The hearing will start at 10:30, and like the honourable judges had said yesterday, that they won't be hearing it for too long. It might just take about 10-15 minutes, and that's it. They've already kind of prepared what they'll be giving the order, the interim order. They've given a proposal to the BCCI. Now it's up to the BCCI. I must tell you that BCCI Secretary Sanjay Patel, I saw him entering the court a short while ago along with IPL CEO Sundar Raman. And also a lot of Mr. Srinivasan's loyalists have come from Chennai. We all know Kasi Vishwanathan, who's very close to Mr. Srinivasan and also an employee of India Siemens, and he was seen sitting in the dugout last year in the Chennai Super Kings dugout last year when Gurunath Mayappan was charged with all those things, and he had to deny that he was not a team principal of Chennai Super Kings. So all eyes on Supreme Court right now, and we are all waiting for that interim order from the Supreme Court. The next hearing will be on April the 16th, which is going to be the first day of this year's IPL tournament, and
right.
The first part of that will be held in UAE. So there's a huge gap between this and the next hearing, and of course this interim verdict, and the next hearing. So everyone is hoping that at least the BCCI guys are hoping that at least these two teams are allowed to play. They are granted permission to play.
All right, Atit, let's also get in a word from Indrajit Kundu, who's joining us from Kolkata. Indrajit, how's the cricket crazy city reacting to this news? Clearly, this would have left a bitter taste for fans.
Well, absolutely, Simi. As far as cricket fans in Kolkata are concerned, they are pretty much annoyed with the fact that Srinivasan is still sticking to his position. Remember, we spoke to the former BCCI chief, who is the CAB chief right now, Jagmohan Dalmia. He said that he's pretty relieved that the Supreme Court has finally intervened, and he also said that Gavaskar's name is something that he would welcome because he is quite a capable person. Let's hear from some cricket fans. You think that it's time for Srinivasan to go, and if the Supreme Court at all, forces him out, how do you look at that decision?
Well, I obviously think that Srinivasan should go. It's very evident from the facts that he is responsible for whatever happened in the IPL fixing scandal. His company, India Siemens, is involved at the helm, as well as Mahendra Singh Dhoni is being alleged to giving false information about certain things. So it's very evident from everything. It's crystal clear that he is the one who's guilty, and
he should go.
He should obviously go.
You think there can be an impartial probe as the Supreme Court
is
suggesting? Him at the helm?
Yeah, he should resign himself because he should not hold his position further, because that will enhance this corruption further. So he should resign himself because it will lead to impartiality. I think so.
Okay, so there you have it. Fans here, at least in Kolkata, are firmly of the opinion that Srinivasan should immediately step down because for the sake of impartiality and cleanliness of the game at this point in time. Back to you.
All right, Indrajit, thanks so much for that reaction from fans. Clearly, that's something that N. Srinivasan has no control over, given that the Supreme Court has already said that he needs to now finally go. Thanks so much, Boria Majumdar, Atit Sharma, Vedika Sood and Indrajit for getting us up to date with this story. Do stay with us. Don't go anywhere. The verdict, the interim order expected any time now.